if you can, is definitely like like good projects coming in every Wednesday, and we just have early access to it. That's basically it. Task, you're back. I'm hoping.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're
Am
good.
I cooked?
You're good.
I'm not cooked?
You're not.
Yeah, dude, fucking man's here. I'm not cooked. Let's go, baby. All right, well, fantastic. And on the topic of good projects coming up to the space today, we have Daily Brews, we have Moonly. Very excited to dig into them and what they're currently doing on chain, jumping in, seeing what the hell they are propagating as utility across blockchains. So before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the structure for the projects that we have up here. It's pretty simple. I kind of dig into projects here with my co-host Sean for about, I would say, 30 to 45 minutes a piece. We start with one, then we go to the other. It's not going to be this, I'm going to sit here and chill and talk about my project the whole time. It's more like pointed question, almost podcast style, where I have like specific questions prepared that I kind of get into based on what I've kind of done in terms of research on the projects that we have up. So that's how we're going to do it. I'm keeping you on your toes. I'm not going to tell you who's going first. I'm just going to get the hell into it when I feel like it. But before that, we're going to go over to Sam's yellow hand. Sam, what's good, brother?
First of all, Task, loving the PFP. Ghost Kid still on the badge. It fits you. It fits you. The pink background, the smile. Sock, big love to you. Happy to see everybody here. Does Task sound like he's super far away from the microphone for anybody else, or is that just me?
Am I better now? I'm eating
Yeah,
it. Am I
much
good?
better.
Is this
Sounded
better?
like you were fucking
Okay.
like at least 10 feet away.
Yeah, it was pretty much it was across the ocean. I have an ocean in my basement. It was pretty far away, but I figured out how to traverse the waves, and we're back in business. So I think we're good to go now. Um, we're gonna kind of get into it a little bit here. For anybody out there, very much appreciate liking and retweeting the space down on the bottom right. All of us have hands for the most part. Sorry to those that don't. Not trying to keep you, unincluded, I guess you could say. So if you do have hands, you do have phalanges, go down to the bottom right, like and retweet the space. There are plenty of ghosts that listen in as well, and other communities that listen in as well later on. We have ghosts from all over the world, so there's only a certain amount of people that can join during this, but we generally get between 60 and 300 listeners in back throughout kind of the process, depending on the projects that we have on the space. So I want to welcome up Daily Brews first. Daily Brews, how are we feeling? Sock, how are we feeling? How's the day?
Dude, we're doing fantastic. I think Jericho's on the account, the project account, but I'm on my personal. I can't stick around for too long. I've got another space I got to hop into. But dude, today has been absolutely fantastic. We're cooking up over at the Syndicate Network. We just posted some pretty cool shit. So definitely would love if you guys check that out. I think Daily Ruse got it. I think we got it on that profile. But dude, it's exciting. Thank you guys for having us, and we're looking forward to having a fantastic conversation with y'all.
Fantastic. Looking forward to having a good conversation too. Jericho, how are you feeling?
No, we're good, man. Thank you so much for giving us this platform. We just got back from Consensus 2023, and we are ready to spill all the alpha. But yeah, thanks again for having us up here.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I know, confirmations come a little slower, but at the same time, we got everybody here and in one place exactly where we need to be. And that includes Moonly. Moonly, how are we feeling today?
Doing well, thank you very much. How are you guys?
Dude, we're good. We're vibing. We're chilling. It's WAGBOO Weekly, and it's a special WAGBOO Weekly, too, because it's our anniversary week for Ghost Kid. So it's very exciting for us, and it's awesome to have some really good projects up here to kind of dig into.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really appreciate the platform. And yeah, we've got a little bit to discuss, talk about a few things that are coming up, but we won't get into too much. We'll try and get into a little bit, but we'll see where the night takes us, shall we?
What he really means is he's going to give us all the alpha across the board. We're going to get it all. There's nothing that's going to be hidden behind closed doors. I don't know what he was talking about before, but I know what I'm talking about for sure. And in that sense, I guess you could say we could kind of jump in directly into one of the projects. Let's go with Daily Brews first, just for the simple fact that Sock is going to have to leave pretty quickly here. But actually, okay, I just saw because I didn't add Kindy, so I want to say hello to Kindy before we get into it. I saw the surprised face, so we'll say hello. Hello, Kindy. Sorry about that.
Hey guys, thanks for the spaces. I'm glad to listen to see what's going on. Hopefully, not too many alpha will be spread over here. Just kidding, of course.
Tons alpha to be spread. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. And any questions that I kind of asked throughout this process, feel free to jump in either or. We have multiple team members up here, so feel free to kind of juggle whatever you need to juggle. But for the sake of time, for Sock and his necessary presence in a different space, we are going to go to Daily Ruse and Syndicate first and kind of get into them. Obviously, they are a daily news network. They also have the option to propagate that news into Discords, which is really cool and something that I actually want to add to Ghost Kids. So we're going to talk about that later after the space because I think that'll be a really cool ad for just like information purposes. Although none of us can read, I have seen it and I have enjoyed kind of sifting through the information that their product provides. So it should be really cool to kind of hear everything. And the first thing that I always get into in relation to a project is always about team structure, where the team came from, what they kind of do in the space, maybe a little bit on their background, and like how you kind of brought it all together to get to the point where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Socrates, you don't have too much time, so do you want to give us some of your background?
Yeah, dude, we can start with my background. But as per the team for Syndicate, the core team consists of three of us. It's me, Jericho, and our good homie Bonzo. And one thing to know is we have all been best friends since basically seventh, eighth grade, and we're all in our our early 20s now. So it's been almost a decade of being homies, and this isn't our first entrepreneurial venture together. We've been through it before, but in terms of our backgrounds, Bonzo is most definitely our programmer. He's the dude kind of making a lot of stuff happen in the back end. He's the real true builder. Uh, we might be out here LARPing. And so he's doing that. Jericho and I are more front facing business development, business ops kind of stuff. My background in Web 2 is largely engineering. I went to school for industrial engineering. So if you're familiar with like lean and agile and shit like that and project management, that's my kind of background. As well as education, I started several tutoring programs and did some other stuff. I'm not going to go too far into the weeds there, but I had a super big passion for education. But ever since I got into Web3, we worked on high voltage, and then I did a lot of Discord security freelancing. I've done Discord security for 20 plus projects, 25 plus projects at this point, and I worked extensively with Trust Labs in their launchpad and in doing Discords for them as well. So that's a lot of my background in Web3. I'm also an interviewer, a show host, the thread writer, but those are kind of not really occupations or anything. So that's a little bit about me. But yeah, I mean, I'll throw it over to Jericho, and then we can tell you a little bit more about the context and how we all fit into the project.
Yeah, for sure. And Socrates is being a little bit too humble right here. He's more than just a space host. He's one of the best space hosts. He's done over 110 spaces this year. So, no, he's a GOAT. As for me and how this team came together, first venture was High Voltage and Moonly and Kinder J. This is not the first space we've had together. Way back then, we had a space together when we were working on High Voltage. But my background, really, I got into crypto about 3 years ago. My first year in, I actually created a crypto mining company, scaled that up to six figures in the first year, and then we created the high voltage NFT, which was supposed to be the first launch NFT to provide holders with Bitcoin mining profit utility. Not literally just a straight up airdrop, but we had this whole gamified way to actually capture those profits. And yeah, some pretty tragic things happened. We minted two collections. Our first collection did not sell out, and it got about halfway. And then our second collection sold out in 5 minutes, which was fantastic. But after we sold out that first collection, my mining facility, which was hosting the miners, actually got hit by a tornado. So it's pretty ridiculous, pretty crazy story. Um, you don't really hear about that. But yeah, so me and Socrates and the whole team, we didn't want to leave the space. So we were just like, you know what is there and where is a niche in the market and where can we, tackle it? And we decided to go to Hacker House Austin. And Hacker House is a Solana event where, developers and builders get together and they develop and there's a competition there. And we weren't developers ourselves, but we were like, maybe we can go here and we can get lots of alpha and give us some inspiration on where we go next. And the first day we got there, we hired a dev for free. He just joined our core team. He loved our store and where we came from, and he just joined our team. He stuck with us for pretty much 6 months. And funny enough, he was a startup founder of his own business that's worth about $200 million. So he definitely imparted a lot of knowledge on us, and really strained up our development style and stuff like that. But yeah, we 6 months of pivoting and trying shit out. Ended up on Syndicate, and Syndicate is it's more than just news, but our first product is the Syndicate newsletter. It's a Discord newsletter, and we realize, why is there no service that's meeting readers where there is, where all the alpha is? There's Discord, right? You see news on Twitter, you see news on CoinDesk or some sort of, tertiary website, but there's no news going into Discord. So we were like, let's just make this and let's see where it goes. And we launched the product in January of this year. We've onboarded nearly 400 servers, and we reached nearly 1 million people. And since then, too, we got invited to Consensus, which is the biggest crypto event in the whole world. And we got invited as press, and we covered the event. And if you see on my pinned tweet or on the Jumbotron, it's a little bit of a recap of what happened at Consensus. But yeah, that's a little bit of history of like how we all got together, and a little bit about my background. But we can just dive straight into it.
No, that's amazing, both of you. Honestly, that is that's some of the not only the kind of the coolest background I've heard in a hot minute, but also being so integrated into these different places and continuing on regardless of trials and tribulations that you've done in the past, and just taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and just building out something that is actually quite needed in the space in a unique way. Obviously, yes, you're not just a news platform. I've looked through your whole kind of white paper that you have here, and to be completely honest with you, it's one of the most detailed white papers that I've kind of read through in a minute. It kind of highlights a lot of the niches that haven't exactly been filled the best in the space, and it looks like you're trying to fill those. So I'm excited to hear more about it beyond, obviously kind of the new sentiment in the first product that you have. But it's really awesome to hear that you have a really good team, a team that is dedicated, and a team that is so dedicated that they go to all these events. I think in real life events are the best networking prop. We all understand that. And it's kind of how you're able to kind of grow your brand in real time and just meet new people and meet people that actually are there that mean business. So I'm bullish to hear all that. I'm excited to hear about Consensus because I'd love to dig into that and your experience coming from the people that covered it specifically. It was an event that I wasn't able to go to, unfortunately, but it was one that was on my radar because it is, like you said, the biggest crypto event in kind of the sphere of what the events kind of entail. So that's really cool. In terms of like the marketing strategy that you guys implemented from the very beginning, can you dig in a little bit into what that looked like to kind of bootstrap this to get to the point where you had almost like 1 million users, like you said, and getting into all these discords?
Yeah, so at the first in our first month, the first week was kind of slow, but what we've had is the people who stuck around with us since high voltage. They've always believed in us. They've always believed in the vision that we've, presented them, and they were the ones who drove the growth of this network. So me and Socrates, of course, we were boots on the ground, onboarding lots of people, and he can talk about what happened with us and Trust Now, which they've helped a lot. But I just want to give flowers to our affiliates and the people who stuck with us forever. Hangjack, Drizzle, Gherkin, they're not in here right now, but those guys, man, they grew the hell out of our network early. They, like Gherkin, for example, is one of our core members. Um, all for free. He just onboarded our bot into probably over 20 servers within the first week. And yeah, it's just having those strong community members that really believe in the vision, and that helped us grow immensely. And that's kind of what we're trying to build at Daily Ruse, is not necessarily another type of like traditional super hyped project that will, just pump and dump. We're really trying to build a strong community who will help build the vision and not just mint the vision and just ride. Right? We want you to be actively participating in what we're building, because that's what we believe Web3 and NFT businesses are meant to do. An NFT is not just a community raise. An NFT is really a community coming together and building a business together. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So implementing those structures to empower our community, empower them even before there's a financial incentive, before there's even an NFT mentioned. We didn't have an NFT in mind, right? This was just a business. And then we just saw the fruits of what NFT could provide. So yeah, we implemented a great affiliate program, and that program took off, and people They can join people right now in this space. You can join our server right now, and you can get paid for onboarding a free bot into servers. Straight up, you can do that right now. So yeah, we have a system in place. We have training every single week. We had a training today actually, and we onboarded 3 new affiliates, which is awesome. We go through our wins, our losses, how we pitch the project to people, and it's a great experience. So yeah, we want Daily Brews to be a community built business. But yeah, you can go ahead, Socrates.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention here is there's a key difference between showing someone a vision and involving them in the vision. And that's one thing we truly took to heart. And as you can kind of see through our affiliate program, is involving people in the success of the project is incredibly important to us. Right. And as Jericho mentioned, the first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of our growth were we're definitely a learning lesson for sure. But then we started leveraging the people we know, our friends, and before we knew it, it started spreading like wildfire. Right? We went from 20 to about 100 in 2 weeks, and then we've had steady growth since then. And growth for us is a consistent game, and as it currently stands, it's about empowering others to help us spread the vision. Right? Because there's one core value. Well, there's several, but one core value of Syndicate is our network is your net worth, right? So any way we can look to grow the network in any way, shape, or form is always admired. And if we can empower people to do so in effective ways and allow their communities to have access to these free daily newsletter, we absolutely do whatever we can to enable that. So well, this is just some alpha for the project owner homies. It's just, don't show people, involve them. So definitely just want to mention that about the good old growth process here.
Absolutely. That's the best way that you can possibly put it in terms of growth. If you involve people, it's a lot more powerful rather than just stringing them along. I completely agree with that. And we're going to go down to Sam I Am's hand. Samwise, what's good, brother?
I don't know if you want to finish your questions. Mine's just a question for the team.
No, go ahead. You if you have a question specifically, feel free to chime in. I tell Sean the same thing.
Awesome. Yeah, no. Well, obviously I know Sock, and I talk to him all the time. One question I have had in the back of my mind, like, I'm going to mint this. I don't even care because Sock. But what's the benefits for holders for holding this NFT? Like, obviously the Discord bot itself is open to pretty much anybody, and currently I don't know if this will be changed, but the affiliate program is also open to anybody. So what is your guys' plans to incentivize holders to hold the NFT and not mint and flip?
Oh yeah, 100%. With the NFT, there's so many different types of benefits, but right now with the affiliate program, we consider it kind of like a beta. It's like a pilot, right? We're actually involving our community members on how much the people should get paid, how we should structure it, the organization of the whole program. So that's one. But once the NFT is launched, that is going to be a holder only thing. So with the affiliate program, how it works is you get paid out based on the size and the notoriety of the server you're onboarding, right? So some servers might be worth more than others. But another thing is you also get paid lifetime revenue on that server. So what does that mean? So let's say we onboard, let's say Ghost Kid, right? We onboard Ghost Kid. Whoever onboards Ghost Kid is going to get paid upfront. And then if Ghost Kid were to ever spend money with Syndicate and any of the services we provide, you will get a cut of that, no matter what, right? You don't even have to shill them any type of services. If they just do it, you'll get a cut of that. So that's a powerful thing with Daily Brews. We want to build out a really, Web 2 centric, model of affiliate program, because historically in the space, every affiliate program, which, it could be, I'm not going to name any names, but the ones in my head, they've never worked out and they've never even gone off the ground. We're proving that the affiliate program works right now, so we can implement even a better version when holders come on, right? So that's one. Another thing too is we are going to have lots of services, which I'll go into later on in this conversation, but all of our holders will get discounts and special offers for those services. And finally, the ruse will always be on the news. As we grow out our syndicate newsletter, our email newsletter, as we go to all these events, we're always going to have relevance. And that's a problem that I see with a lot of projects, is that a lot of projects are pigeonholed into two avenues of essentially exposure, which is Twitter and Discord. And there's no consistent mechanism for them to reach more people. It's always just a kind of an echo chamber of who the holders are. With us, we're trying to change that. So it's no longer just who are our holders, it's who is in our network, who's using the Discord bot, who's in our email newsletter, what events are we going to. Even Telegram is going to be big for us in the future. LinkedIn's going to be big for us in the future. So yeah, all these avenues is we want to have consistent exposure on the ruse, so there's consistent liquidity and people know exactly what's going on with our collection. So those are the three main ones that I always point out to. But Socrates, what do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Jericho is mentioning something incredible, which is the ruse will always be in the news. We've already demonstrated the success of promoting the collection in the network. I mean, we don't do it very often, but we've put something like join our server for whatever, and the amount of traffic we're able to get that's extremely unique to our collection is kind of through the roof. And this is the thing about Syndicate, right? Is we're built to be extremely modular. Not only are we on Discord and we're also on Twitter, but we also have an email newsletter and we are going other places as well. I won't go too deep into our strategy, but the fact that we can reach so much wider than a lot of different collections is an advantage, not just for us, but for our community as well. Because now you have exposure to all these different mediums, right? All these different platforms of which you can, have uh, have leverage or have marketing or anything along those lines. It's pretty interesting, and I just want to bring to attention that modularity, right? Because that's something that doesn't exist very much in the space. Because the neat thing about our network is although we provide Web3 news, we provide crypto news, we provide the latest headlines and so on and so forth, we're actually pretty chain agnostic. I mean, we're already getting Matic adoption. We're in, some ETH servers, not very many, but we're growing into these different avenues and we can start having ETH news. We can start having Matic news. But here's the thing, here's the vision. We can start having gaming news and be in Web2 communities, right? We can be in all of these different Web2 communities in Discord that no one else has any reach in. And that's the exciting part. Can you imagine what it looks like for us to promote the ruse into a network like that? Like that's what's exciting about this stuff. We're so agnostic and the potential is kind of it's not unlimited, but let's just say there's 19 million servers on Discord and not very many of them have a news platform. Well, we're already the biggest by market share, but it's exciting. It's exciting. And I don't want to go too far. I'm going into the weeds here, but yeah, I just love talking about it. So, yeah.
You should love talking about it because it is a really cool thing. So you don't have to apologize whatsoever. I'm bricked up. I'm not gonna lie. I am completely bricked up. I have at least like 12 servers that I could talk to as an affiliate. So we're 100% gonna get into a discussion after this at some point to see what I can do there. Because like everybody else, I'm pretty involved in Discord and have been for a very long time. So I don't see why if they don't have the syndicate news in their Discord that I can't tell them to get it goddamn in there. So we're going to talk about it. But we're going to go down as well to Kindy here. Kindy, go ahead with the hand, and then we'll go back to Sean.
Hey, first of all, the execution on the project and idea is awesome. I need to be honest. I have this idea while you're just speaking. I open my Notion where there's a list of 30 plus idea that we kind of plan to build into Mooney, but of course you cannot build everything and all this stuff. And I just found this card and the video actually that I recorded because sometimes I record ideas so I can when I have a brainstorming so I can actually express more widely. I see this 9 months ago was there. I'm not sure if the syndicate network was there 9 months ago. Maybe it is, maybe not. Correct me, please. Sok?
How many months ago?
9 months ago.
Yeah, we've been building the initial iteration of Syndicate started almost basically a year ago at this
All
point.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you do, guys, and I was just listening your execution out there is phenomenal. Really, like uh, putting community first, involving community out there, so they can feel they do have some contribution. Um, Doing this affiliating, it's something also we're thinking about our staking as a service to because we want to onboard more projects out there. So great stuff, basically. My background is also growth hacking. Um, you know, not kind of standard way of advertising, but I was having exactly the same. I like I was asking myself how to reach more people. Like our Discord is kind of, the engagement and reach is going down, right? The more new projects coming up, they're on the top of your left sidebar or Discord. Your Discord is the bottom most of the time. So I was thinking how to reach more people, and then just idea came out the same. So I'm really glad that someone is executing this. You're doing this, I think, very well. I think a couple of guys actually. I'm not gonna lie. I think 5 or 6 people came to us, and I was wondering why these new people are, coming every day. Not every day, but let's say every week or so, offering the syndicate network. I didn't have the time, to be honest, to dive into to see what exactly you are offering, because to be honest, you need to have a concrete number for, or in order to understand what you can expect. For example, like what in the terms like what how many clicks you can expect, let's say, from announcement, if it work like that, if I got the right. Of course, if you have, let's say, 1,000 servers out there, yeah, you have in total, I don't know, 1 million, 10 million members. But what is the real engagement rate out there, or click-through rate? Do you guys measure that, and how it's worked? That's what I'm interested on. I
Oh
would
yeah.
definitely use the server. I would definitely use the service, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Sartes, did you want to answer this, or would you like me to answer it?
No, you answer the click through stuff, and then I have something I'll
Yeah.
say afterwards.
Okay, yeah. So with the real reach, right? So our network spans nearly a million users, but how many are actually reading the news every single day? So Discord actually does not allow you to measure the exact amount of people reading your channel every day, but we've implemented things that help us gauge the rough number of how many we can expect. So one thing is that we've implemented a polling system. So that counts how many people are voting in a daily poll that we send out. We send out usually a daily question, and that's like, are you doing this? Is this going to go up? Are you bullish on SWE NFTs? Whatever it is, right? And usually with those votes, we get about, it ranges from 150 to upwards of 300 votes every single day. So if we attach a click through rate of about 3% on that, we can expect that we're reaching anywhere between 6,000 to about 12,000 readers every single day. We've done giveaways in our network, and that is something where somebody, like the people reading, has to go on Twitter and like, retweet, what have you. We call that sponsored news, and we've gone upwards of 60,000 impressions on a Twitter post. So yeah, it's really difficult to gauge the reach, but we're trying to implement even more things to do that. So another thing too is we can actually measure how many people are clicking on the links attached to our news. That's another way. So yeah, analytics and building out that is really important to us, just so we can have a better suite of like statistics to provide for the people who want to use our service, and also for us. We want to know, how many readers are, like, that's our main product, right? We want to know all that stuff. So for sure.
Thanks for sharing this. Exactly, one of the problems is how to measure this, right? Is there a way that you can somehow embed image, or it's gonna be automatically uploaded on Discord, so you can kind of, through the image, track requests through the server and somehow get a sense of the impressions? I'm just thinking loudly. I'm not sure if it's possible, but that's how it was done in the Web 2, right? In all days, you put a pixel, and that's how you track stuff. Okay, that's you're probably gonna figure it out, but I like what I hear. That definitely gonna explore more about Syndicate News, guys.
Yeah, of course. And dude, thank you so much. And that's an idea we've had recently. So currently we're building out our tech for of which we measure the click through rate, so people clicking on links and stuff like that. That's actually going to be shipping out in our next bot update, which should be, if not, it should be this week. This week, next week, something like that. But this is the pretty cool thing about Syndicate, is we're in a very fantastic position to get a lot of analytics and data that no one else really has access to, right? And as Jericho mentioned, we send out these polls into our network, one of which we use to measure kind of attendance and participation, but also we can ask some pretty cool stuff. Like, are you bullish on X project, or do you like this art? Right? There's a lot of cool stuff we can do for the market that really no one else can do. Right? You can send out Twitter polls, but you're not reaching any Discord audiences, right? And that's only going to be confined to your reach on Twitter, but we'll send it into 200 communities, 300 communities, 400 communities, and you can imagine getting rapid feedback on your art. Imagine getting rapid feedback on a concept just because we sent it out into this network. And here's the thing, this is why I'm so fucking bullish on my own project. It's because we are so modular, like unbelievably modular. And I mention this all the time, but there's so much we can do with the network, right? At the end of the day, we're not just a motherfucking news company, we're a network. And we connect all these different people in all of these different ways. And imagine how much good we can do for the ecosystem, right? Providing this news. Imagine during the bull market, we send out education, we send out scam alerts, we send out all of these different things that promote the best parts of Web3. And imagine we're in Web2 communities. Imagine what we can do for everybody in Discord. And that's what's so exciting about Syndicate. But I'll throw it back over to Jericho. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll just touch on this really quickly, then I'll give it back to Task because I think we've gone off the rails a little bit. Um, but yeah, just touching on the Bit Daily poll, this is something that we value a lot, and this is actually something that's guided this business and guided our decision making. Is we're essentially collecting daily feedback on so many different topics every single day. So we've sent out polls such as what do you think about the minting environment? What do you think about is the chain is crypto bullish or bearish? Are you subscribed to an email newsletter? Have you ever been to a crypto event? Having all of this data allows us to better position the company and align our interests with the interests of our readers. So ultimately, our business is built by the readers, and having this constant feedback by our readers will help us adapt. So again, like community first, listening to our community, huge for us. These polls empower us and empowers our readers.
I love it. You guys know what the hell you're doing, don't you? My question here, it's a simple one actually. It's a simple one. That kind of jumps into the art and the branding. Like, what was the kind of epiphany moment that you had when you decided to do something like Daily Ruse? Like, how many iterations did you go through before you kind of landed on this, and how did you get to it?
No, honestly, I mean the story of how we actually got the art is pretty insane. But honestly, we were like, you know, what rhymes with news? Ruse? Shit, Daily Ruse. So Daily Ruse is
Classic.
kind of a play on words of daily news and ruse news, what have you. But yeah, I mean that's the concept of like how we thought of like why why we want to do kangaroos, and also kangaroos has never been done in Solana. Like if you go on Magic Eden, there are literally no kangaroo collections, and we're like, that's a damn shame. So why can't we just be the first? So there's that as well. But in terms of like how long the art took and what happened, the person who was curating the art isn't actually here. We didn't actually have really any too much say in what happened. But yeah, the art took about I think 4 months to create, and the person who curated it, his name's AJ. He has his own project. Um, but yeah, I wish I could go more into that. But yeah, it's a pretty simple story. Ruse news. Let's do kangaroos.
Ruse news, love it. Simple is sometimes best. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, it was an easy pitch with the way that it kind of sounds, and it's close to that, which is awesome. Uh, in terms of like the history that you've had, you've obviously seen quite the pockets of success across the board in different ways, right? And you're still even finding more and more success as you continue with like the initiatives that you have. Was there a point in your history where there was a challenge or a trials and tribulations period where you kind of had to dig deep and like come up with something to kind of further what you're doing here as a business?
Bro. Task, you got no idea, bro. Holy shit. There's so many times we hit fucking rock bottom. Are you kidding me, dude? This shit, Web3 is not easy. Like, this shit is fucking hard. Like, the thing with the Daily Ruse and Syndicate, we pivoted like 9 times, it feels like. And we're really starting to dial in right now. Like, we're really, like, super fucking aligned with what we're doing. But man, it's been a journey getting to this point. Because originally, whenever we started building out Syndicate, we were going to be a whitelist platform, right? That kind of like Subber, more so like Deli Sid Kids, if you were ever familiar about that. We like built out this whole fucking website. We like, man, we built out so much stuff. And then we're just like, oh, we're not moving fast enough. These guys got too much market share. Then we pivoted, and then we were doing something a little bit different. And then with that model, no one gave a fuck. So then we pivoted again, and then we became news, and then we pivoted again, and now we're media, right? And now we're the syndicate network. And man, it's been really fucking hard. Like it really is. And if it weren't for our core team, if it weren't for Jericho and Bonzo and the rest of the homies, I mean, we got Legendary on stage, we got Hang Jack, we got Drizzle. Like, dude, there's so many different homies that are on the team now. If it weren't for these people, we would have been fucked, royally fucked, to be honest. Because the thing about Web3 projects, the thing about working here is you have to be flexible and you have to be able to adapt day by day, right? Things change very rapidly. And man, we've had our quite a few hurdles, quite a few issues that we've had to jump through, navigate. Um, I mean, are you looking for? I mean, man, there's not like one in particular that I want to mention or anything, but we've definitely had our fair share of issues. This hasn't been like we start and then we just go. It's been we start, we fuck up, we get back up, we fuck up again, we get punched in the face, fucking stand up again, dude. Like it's been a whole bunch of that, and only through those failures have we really gotten to where we are today. So, yeah, man, dude, it's been wild. It's been a lot of fun though, and it's very very fulfilling to see this happen and just make this dream come to reality. So yeah, that would be my take on that.
Making the dreams come to reality, man. That's what I like to hear. Growth and comfort do not coexist. It's in my tagline. I use it all the time. It's one of my top 3 quotes, and for a reason, because I'm bullish on getting punched in the face and getting back up, because that's exactly what you need to do to actually thrive in this ecosystem, because you're going to get punched a lot directly in the face. But if Jericho, if you have anything that you want to add to any of that, feel free. Otherwise, I'll go to the next question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it really short. You guys don't even know the feeling, the soul crushing feeling when you develop a product for, let's say, 3 months, and then you rug it immediately after a competitor comes in and takes all the market share. So, yeah, it feels terrible. Also, the feeling of getting your fucking building hit by a goddamn tornado and talking with insurance for 4 months to get the claim, that's fucking terrible too. But it doesn't really matter because as long as we're still here today, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. So it's not a big deal. We're building.
Keep moving on, keep trudging, keep building. That's all you really have to do, dude. I've never heard of like literally the craziest thing, a tornado coming through and just taking your Web3, whatever you've built, regardless of what it is. And in that case, it was a warehouse for mining, but taking your hopes and dreams and just literally whisking them up into the Web3 air. That's absolutely insane. I'm extremely sorry that ever happened to you and anybody. That is like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life for like the things that you've built. Like you didn't even have a choice, dude. It wasn't even on chain. That was in real life, and you got rugged in real life, bro. That's like the worst thing in the world.
Bro, it was such a surreal call. I remember Jericho calling me. He's like, Socrates, I got bad news. Our facility got hit by a tornado, and I didn't know what to believe. I mean, we're from the central U.S., right? So it's not like It's not. I mean, it's uncommon, but it's not like unheard of, right? So, man, it was definitely surreal. But yeah.
That's crazy. Sean, go ahead.
Yo, I just wanted to say I'm fucking bullish, dude. I'm bullish on people who don't fucking give up. Just like Jericho here, and yeah, dude, it's super fucking interesting. I think you guys have found like a gap in between like the communication between Discord and Twitter. I'm bullish on NFTs which come up with actual problem solving utility, and I think this is definitely one of those NFTs. And also Sock D, like I've seen this guy grow his account from like a low follower account to where he is. I've seen him here and there, so it's pretty cool that it's his project too. So yeah, I just yeah, bullish on Jericho, dude, and Sock as well. So excited to see where this goes, and I'll definitely be minting Daily Rose and get some kangaroos in my wallet.
Let's fucking go, dude.
Let's fucking get it, baby. Love having kangaroos on chain. Let's go down to Kindy. We'll see what he's got. Kindy, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to confirm what Sock and the guy said. You definitely need to fail a lot to realize actually what work. I mean, not for all, but that's basically hard path. So I like if the project come up with a idea that doesn't require a lot of technicality and a lot of investment. I'm not sure like how much actually you guys put it in there. Do you definitely put it kind of resources, time, and energy and money out there? But I think it's not a very complex project to build, but it's actually building a lot of value. And I think that's a really good thing if you, because I know what we are doing only. We're building a lot of stuff and we are kind of also pivoting. You mentioned you build a whitelist management tool. Well, we build that as well. It's sitting out there collecting a dust for 8 months. We built last summer exactly after our mint. I didn't even know that a Saber thing existed back then because we faced that issue. How we need to improve this whitelist management thing. I did 500 manual collaboration. We need to do something. We started doing this, but we kind of pivoted on the wrong thing because I felt okay. We're in rush. We need to deliver something to holders and stuff like that. So, congratulations on actually pivoting, failing, trying, and figuring out actually what works. That's the real spirit, man.
Absolutely. It's not if you fail, it's how you fail. That's what truly counts at the end of the day when you're trying to do something, regardless of if it's in Web3 or not. And moving to the next question that I kind of have here that focuses on like your goals and the things that you're going to try and hit for milestones. And I would say probably the next month and a half to maybe 3 months. Is there anything that you're able to share here in this space that you have upcoming that's going to be exactly what you're looking for when you're building out your project?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, of course, is always growing the network. We always historically since our launch growing by 100 servers every single month. This is our first month actually we didn't hit that, and I'm pretty sure it's because me and Socrates did we went to consensus for a week. So yeah, I wasn't able to be super hands on with my affiliate team, but that's a goal of ours is 100 servers every single month. Another one is of course the pre-sale. We are in pre-sale phase right now, round one. So Task, we gotta link up, and we need to get these ghosties some pre-sale spots for sure. Get you guys super early, and of course, we have so many goals. It's kind of hard to even think of all of them, but growing the network, finishing up this pre-sale, doing lots of marketing going into our whitelist phase as well, and just curating a really strong community that believes in the vision. And I think me and Socrates, we've been able to do that really well, even though our community is still relatively small and we think everyone is still very early. All those people in there, they are real believers, right? They believe in the vision. We are fully docs as well. The video up there has Socrates' face in it too. So yeah, I'm not sure about any more specifics, but we have, we want to launch, grow our email newsletter that we launched literally 2 weeks ago. We almost have 100 subscribers on that, and um, more news offerings. So we're offering additional things to our news. We're doing a new thing called, Guess That JPEG, which has gotten tons of traction. We launched a pilot of that 2 days ago. That's attached to our news, and that gets about 300 engagements every single day, which is amazing. And just doing a lot of testing, I guess. Like that's a big thing with this business is that we test a lot of things. Like we do a lot of testing. We like to fuck around and find out if things work. And that's another big thing with us is we're very modular and we really embrace that, and we love to just build product and create experience for our readers, right? Adding on to not just having a reader experience, just reading the news, but an interactive experience like a newspaper. The newspaper got a word search, has like comics, stuff like that. We're gonna add on to additional things to our news and stuff like that. So quite a bit of goals, to be honest with you. But for sure, growing the network and the pre-sale.
Hey, growing the network, bullish on growing network, bullish on holder experiences. And you know what else I'm bullish on? I'm bullish on that little button in the bottom right where everyone in the space can go down, like and retweet the space, leave a comment. Tell me what you've liked so far about Daily Ruse. Find a kangaroo picture that's a little sus and make sure you put it in the comments. We like those the best. Make sure you have fun with it. And I appreciate everyone stopping by today, the mainstays, the new ones, to WAGBOO Weekly. We are going to get into a couple more questions here. Dude, Daily Ruse is like full of content that is fantastic, just coming from both you, Jericho and Sock. So we will be getting into Moonly a little bit. shortly here, but we're going to finish some of the questions here and go a little bit over in time, and that's okay because we'll still give Moonland the platform after the fact. But the one of the last questions that I have for you is kind of on the community building aspect. Community building is an art, in my personal opinion, and I think most of us kind of understand that here. Curating an actual community that stays engaged and stays kind of relevant at the same time. Engaged and relevant, I think, are different because it's hard to kind of propagate a community that wants to continue to push your product, even if they're kind of doing it internally. What are some of the ways that you've kind of curated the community up until now, and like what are some of the future initiatives that you have beyond all these spaces that you have? I mean, you have tons of spaces, right? It's a great way for the community to kind of engage with you consistently. You have Making Time, you have Meet the Artists, Meet the Founders, Meet the People, Syndicate Weekly, Bigger Picture. I don't know how you guys don't get burnt out for that. That's absolutely crazy. On top of that, I love the branding on it on kind of the white paper, so big ups on that. But go ahead, go into the question I got off the wall a little bit there.
Damn, Tass, I'm about to ruin your day. Socrates, you want to give them the bad news?
Yeah, man. Task. I was gonna mention this earlier, but you mentioned the white paper being banging. Dude, we're actually about to overhaul the white paper again. One of the things that's going to include is some space revisions. So we did host a lot of spaces. We hosted Bigger Picture, Making Time. We had Meet the Artists. We had a bunch, and I loved hosting them. I never actually felt burned out, but it just wasn't fitting in well. So almost every single show is canceled until further notice, or at least shelved. And the reason why is to give myself a little bit more free time, of which I can actually engage and do the curation of the community, right? Because I was spending too much time on the outside, not enough time on the inside. And that's something we're continuously working on. We just empowered some more community members to take a larger role on with Syndicate. We're going through with some internal revisions to our community. We brought on a new community manager, AC. She's awesome. You've probably heard or seen her before. She's helping us, and we have, of course, people like Legendary. We have people in our community like Hang Jack and Drizzle. You guys aren't too familiar with them probably, but we're all about empowerment. That's what it is for us, and finding ways to get people to contribute to the vision, because all of us just want ways of which to be involved in something larger. So it's just something we're super conscious of. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there.
No,
Fantastic, man. It's okay. Go ahead, Jericho.
Yeah. So I just want to say, like, in terms of the specifics of like our initiatives, um, we did some incredibly grassroots marketing with HV and Daily Brews. We're gonna have the same thing, grassroots marketing, and really capturing the believers, right? Not a typical hyped, pump and dump. Is we want this to be very long lasting value, kind of in the way of Famous Fox. If you knew the history of Famous Fox and how they started and how they didn't mint out, and it was really their community that brought them up, kind of the same way. So one of the things is me and Socrates are fully doxxed, so you'll be seeing our faces a lot. We're going to do video AMAs that are going to be live streamed. So usually that's going to have a PowerPoint of some sort where I talk about the business, the NFT, the where we're going, all this type of stuff. Lots of alpha in that, and that's a way for us to engage with our audience, and they're going to be able to see us, and they're going to be able to see what we're presenting and the vision we're building. Another thing is more content on our Twitter accounts, especially the network account, because right now that Twitter account has really been used for shilling Socrates' spaces. But we're gonna have a huge commitment to video content. So one of the videos at the Jumbotron you see there, we're gonna do docu series about NFT collections. So, for example, if there's no collection, there's no outlet out there that's creating documentaries about what happened in this NFT collection or this type of industry. And it's a real shame because our industry of NFTs, it's an industry of culture, right? It's a industry where people like to understand and learn about what happened, because at the end of the day, right, we all want to know, like, how did Ghost Kid get from, I think it was like 0.039 soul to upwards of 20 soul, right? How did D-Gods get to where they are? How did all these people get to where they are? So video content, we're making that commitment, and we're going to be executing on that. And, in our Discord, right, doing all the things we need to do to empower our people, get them in the affiliate program, have them just, actively trying to grow the network. And with the spaces, I can't tell you guys too much, but we are doing a space revision, and new shows are coming out that will better cater to our audience now. So, yeah, quite a few things, but community for sure, always in mind. And yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Always in mind. That is, it can't not be, right? Like, it has to be on your mind because they're the people that are interacting with what you're trying to build. So fantastic. Love to hear the different kind of initiatives that you have. And Sock, it's totally okay, man. Not getting burnt out with all the spaces. I don't know how you did that, to be completely honest with you. But at the same time, there's certain things that you have to do and have to pivot on if the initial idea isn't going to be working, and that's what you do. That's what Web3 is all about, is being able to do that and adapt to different situations and to try and push different things forward. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you find a balance of like some spaces versus doing 6 a week, right? Like you find kind of a balance, right? Like Ghost Kid, for example. I used to do more spaces during the week, but now it's WAGBOO Weekly on Wednesdays, and then it's Ghost Kid Dow Family Friday on Fridays, and that's kind of what we've solidified, right? Maybe it's more about solidifying specific ones than trying to cover like such a wide spread and being like, oh my god, this is a lot, and then not being able to kind of commit to where these other areas are lacking, right? So I wish you guys luck on that and finding the formula that you're looking for. The last kind of question that I have for you specifically is about Mint, is about pre-sale prices, is about the collection size. Give me the TLDR. Let me know what we need to know about the project when it's coming up.
100%. So one more thing on the previous question, I forgot to mention this. A lot of partnerships rolling out. One with Icon, which is a big space, Trust Labs, that as well, Bell Studios, marketing agency on Solana. So yeah, we have some big partnerships coming up. Anyways, with all you guys need to know about the Mint presale, what have you, public and whitelist Mint will be 50 USDC. Round one, which we are in round one right now, is going to be 30 USDC. And in terms of the total supply, 5,567. And if you participate in the pre-sale, that's going to be airdropped post mint. Of course, we have our OG HVW holders, and we can't leave them in the dust. So each HVW you hold will get you a guaranteed airdrop for a RU. So if you were to purchase a HVW right now, that'll guarantee you for a RU. Right now, they're a little bit above 30, and then there's like three a little bit above 30, and then after that it goes to like 40. So definitely there's not too many of them right now. And yeah, so that's what's going on with like the actual mint side of things. But I just want to touch on like what exactly we're building and what we like to say, like we're more than just news, right? And I just want to say this, like we are known for our newsletter product that we have right now. Of course we are, because it's the only and major product that we have, and it's enjoyed by a lot of people. But we're trying to build something much bigger. We're not just a typical news company, and we're not just a Twitter account, posting about news. We are going to be a full suite media company, and that is the goal. News is just 20% of that. The other 20% is going to be media. Other 20% is going to be our studio, which is actually our way to monetize our audience and what we're offering, right? We have so many things planned for our future, but of course, news is just a stepping stone. We wanted to provide a high value, high impact product that is not seen and not done before in this space, and it's done incredibly well. So, what else are we doing? Again, like I mentioned, our email newsletter, no one has that. That's going to be something that we're offering. And that's something not provided in the space. Not everyone's on Twitter, not everyone's on Discord or Telegram, but every single person has an email, right? So that's something that we're going to be actively growing. Syndicate Media, we're going to be going to all these live events. And we got invited to Consensus. So we plan to go to NFT NYC, NFT LA, all these different events, ETH Denver, and of course, promoting Syndicate, getting the live coverage for our audience, and providing you guys that value, right? And our main monetization point of how we actually make our money is Syndicate Studio. So a powerful thing with having all this reach and being able to grow on Discord, on email, and going to live events, we can monetize all these avenues. So sponsored news, if you want to advertise and you want to promote a big announcement, a mint, a service, a product, a software, anything into our network of 400 Discord servers, you can do that. If you want to promote something on our email, you could do that. If you want us to go to NFT NYC and you want to print out or if you want us to print out stickers and get flyers and business cards and have your Telegram on us, we can go and advertise for you at NFT NYC, right? That's something we're going to do. No one's doing that. That's something we're doing, right? So all of these things is all boiling together and coming together to build not a news company, but a full suite media company. We plan to be the media company for the NFT community, not just on Solana. Our start is on Solana because that's where our community is. We love Solana deeply. That's where we started. But our future is chain agnostic. It is cross chain. We have a cross chain future. After our mint is done, we're going to be hitting up ETH, Polygon, Sui, Aptos, Stacks, every single NFT chain because we believe every single chain needs to always be informed and entertained, and they need syndicate news. They need the syndicate network. So that is our future.
Sounds like a future that a lot of people are going to want to be a part of. I'm not going to lie. That I'm bullish, man. I'm bullish as hell. On top of that, we are definitely going to get into a call not only about pre-sales, but also about this affiliate program because I definitely can pump those numbers back over 100 and you guys can keep doing what you need to do on the side to make sure that everything else is taken care of. But we're going to go to Sean for a sec here. Sean, go ahead, and then we're going to jump over to Moonly most likely.
Yeah. Just one question, Jericho. You said something about picking up a pass, and w- people get like a kangaroo if they get some collection. Could you actually like uh, give some details on that?
Yeah, so this collection is our first collection that we ever created. It's called High Voltage Worlds. If you go on Magic Eden, you can just type in HVW. And yeah, if you own one, you'll get a Roo. If you own five, you get 5 Roos. So it's a one of one airdrop. So you don't have to even worry about minting. Just holding one will guarantee you an airdrop.
Okay, so the one at 1.38, is that the right one?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the right one. And what is pre-sale price again? The initial first pre-sale price?
It's gonna be 30 USDC.
Okay. So it's pretty close. It's pretty dang close to the amount. I think it's actually a little cheaper if you buy high voltage at 1.38. There's for anybody out there, I'm gonna let everybody front run me, including Sean. There's 3 for 1.38, which is cheaper if I'm doing the math in my head right, but also I don't know how to do math. Cheaper than the initial pre-sales that you would get from the first phase, from what I understand. So there's 3 of them there. The next one after that is 1.68, and I think that's slightly over. So for anybody out there that's been this interested, I just saw one go off the market. See you later. There's 2 left. Make sure you go grab them. But Jericho, I appreciate you coming by, giving us the whole TLDR of this giant corporation that you're trying to build here to provide value in Web3. It's amazing to hear. It was amazing to listen to and speak with you. Feel free to stay on the panel throughout. Up until Moonly, I know that Web3 is busy bee, so if you have to go, we completely understand. I know Sock had to rip because he had his space, but otherwise, stay to the end, and we're going to kind of jump into Moonly here, but I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I'm gonna actually dip to get into Socrates' space as New Age founders. But yeah, with the NFT, it's right now it's $31, so like $1 more than pre-sale, and then the one after that is 38, so $8 above. So there's that. But before I go, I really, really, really want to give my flowers to Moonly and Kinder because I remember our first space together with Cobalt, and I remember distinctly, Kinder is a fucking grinder, and he did 500 whitelist collabs all by himself. He built this product basically by himself. So yeah, enough shilling daily ruse. I mean, these guys, Moonly, they're builders. Kinder is a beast. So just want to give my flowers to you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I just before you said this, I was there buying some high voltage worlds. So I appreciate all the good words, and wish you the good luck, man, for with the mint and the project. You're gonna rock and roll. I believe in you.
Love it. Love to see it. Love to see people coming back together as well from such a long time ago that are bullish on one another. It honestly resonates with what networking means in Web3. So thank you, Jericho. Feel free, hop out, go make sure Sock's all good and his pants are up. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll be talking for sure. We'll be talking for sure. But we are going to get into Moonly here. Moonly, thank you for being patient. Thank you for chilling while we kind of got into what Daily Ruse was all about. The first thing I'm going to ask is who is behind the Moonly account? Otherwise, I am just going to call you Moonly.
Yeah, no problem. My name's Kai. So I'm the one behind the Moonly account. I'm one of the team members at Moonly. I recently joined. Thanks for having us. I really enjoyed. Just want to quickly say before we get into this, I really enjoyed listening to everything about Daily Ruse. I've actually been toying around with their systems on my own private Discord, and I actually quite like it. So yeah, kudos. I like it.
I think that we all like it too. So I love to hear it. I know we also still have Legendary who set up the space in the Ghost Kid Discord up here as well for Daily Ruse. So if anybody does at the end, after we get through Moonly, have any questions, maybe even about the affiliate program, because it looks like he's kind of leading that in terms of the partnership leads and so on and so forth. So he probably helps out there. So appreciate you staying in the space and being able to just be present for us for anybody that has questions. But Moonly, in terms of your curation, obviously you minted last year in May, if I'm correct. I believe it was May is what I read. You've kind of been through the ups and downs of the space, like a lot of these other mainstay projects that have been across the board. In terms of what you've been able to do, who the team was and has kind of evolved into, if you can give a little bit about a little background on that for us here.
I think I'll let Kindo take this one actually because he's a little bit more versed in this.
All right. So yeah, right. We minted May 26th, kind of month after the Luna crash or something like that. I remember this widely. Um, the the lunar crash kind of impacted on us. We were kind of worried what's going to happen with the NFT space, with crypto. It was a lot of panic in that moment, and this was our first NFT project ever. But everything went well according to me. I mean, we basically crashed the Magic Eden because it was on the Magic Eden launchpad. It was, white page. A lot of people tried to mint. A lot of people was unhappy because they couldn't get a mint, unfortunately. But yeah, that is where we mint. We started Moonly, the project. We started building Moonly on December, or actually October, November, December, actually the end of November 21. And I remember my wife Helena, she was about to give a birth to our first child, and she deployed the first version of Moonly in just, I think, few days before she gave a birth. And that's how the Moonly started. It's actually started as a very simple uh, curated list of upcoming project because I saw, this opportunity. Let's build something useful over here. And I always like to solve my own problems out there. So that's how actually we started with Moonly. And then later on we figured out, all right, there's so many of these scammy projects and project that doesn't provide kind of any value, but raise a lot of funds out there. Why not build something actually out of it? So that's how in the kind of January idea came up, right? Let's build a project out of this. And then I figured out, all right, since we had a project ongoing called Automatio, that we were building for years, I said, all right, let's move the team from Automatio for a couple months, build this project, raise the funds, expand the team, and see where we go from there. And that's actually what happened. We were basically building a 6 months before we kind of meet. So we bootstrapped that, of course. Everything I did in the last 20 years, it was pure bootstrap. And that's why I love the NFT space and the crowdfunding. I see uh, is a great tool for project founders and startups that they can raise funds for ideas and get supported by communities without selling to the venture capitalists and the angels and so on. So that's how we started. The team currently consists of, I think, more than 50 people, 6 or 7 developers, virtual assistants. They're here in the listener side. Little Feather, Tamara, and Corsica is a community guy helping a lot. He was there from start. Now we have a Kai joining us and helping us on the Twitter Spaces, on the content writing. But yeah, the team is a pretty solid big, to be honest. The expenses are also pretty solid. That's why I said to the Syndicate new guys, uh, that it's really nice when you kind of build something very valuable with a small team, when you find that honeypot out there that you can provide the value with not too much expenses, with not so much big team. So that's a really great thing. So here we are after, I don't know, almost a year of the mint, but a year and a half from the beginning of the Moonly. Yeah, you feel free to ask some question because I can speak without stopping.
No, absolutely. Most of us can speak without stopping, so I don't blame you.
All
You
right.
know, when it comes to Moonly, obviously you guys have been through your own trials and tribulations and a challenging market over the last almost year, like you said, on the 26th of May coming up, close to our anniversary too. Our anniversary for Ghost Kid is on the 10th. So that's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, I may have minted and flipped some of your NFTs, which was cool because I had just kind of joined that side of NFTs and the things that you built too, very undervalued. Like looking through your whole website previously, before I got into the space, and then also kind of just like sifting through it again now. I mean, you guys have tools all over the place from the monitors for NFTs. You have a live feed that aggregates every marketplace. You have watch lists. You can look at your own holdings. You can search all of the upcoming NFT drops for Solana, Ethereum, Polygon, Near, and Aptos. And like all of these things are really valuable when looking at like how to trade and like what you want to keep track of on chain for from like a trading perspective. Like what are some of the ways that your future initiatives are going to kind of push these out to holders? Because just looking at it, and I hate to bring up floor price, but just looking at like the price of where your NFT is right now, I think this is extremely undervalued for what you've currently built. If you have such a big team, you have all of these devs working tirelessly in the basement, making sure that all of these things are taken care of and built out correctly. Like how are you going to get this out to more users so that it can finally be utilized and you can get kind of what you deserve based on the quality products you've created?
I'm glad that you're very transparent and direct and honest, and that you bring that out really, because that's something that really matters, and that's kind of uh, that's for the most of the people and most of us actually. The floor price is one very big indicator of the success of the project. Is this project successful or not? Unfortunately, with the Mooney, it doesn't resonate this way. There's a couple of reasons for this. One of the reason is definitely um, putting more focus on the tech side than putting more focus on the growth in community. Another thing is uh, unexpected things that happened definitely that it was not kind of in my expectation, and that's a bear market. I mean, I'm not to kind of I would say a trader oriented person or economist that I was following all these things. So of course I heard even 6 months before that bear market is coming and so on, but I didn't know how that's going to impact on us. At some moment we were counting, all right, we are doing good in the SEO, search engine traffic. We are getting thousands of visitors per day. We are now the syndicate network was mentioning exactly the same thing. We are in the, most of the communities are in the same circle jerks, where they, they're close to Discord, the Twitter space, the Twitter, they are kind of reaching out, and that's it. And we had some kind of different vision, right? We are now also, at the moment before even minting, we are having, thousands of visitors, organic visitors, that is most valuable visitor. People search for something, you give them what they search, and that can be who knows who that comes to the Google and find your website and stick to the website, register and join the Discord. So a lot of things basically happened out there. But definitely, I'll be very honest to you guys. One of the things is, since that we were kind of building this 6 months before Mint, and even before we started building Moonly, I was burning out with a project called Automatio for years, and it's a bootstrapped project, very complex, high potential project out there. And then I kind of, all right, since I discovered NFT, of course, I've been in NFT from 2017 when the first NFT was actually arrived, the CryptoKitties and the CryptoPunks out there. But I was back into an NFT space in 21 October, something like that. Then I met Solana because I was frustrated with Ethereum fees. Then I followed law with Solana and Solana and Solana and Solana. And then I stayed in Solana. I basically put this main project aside. Was kind of relaxing to the NFT space in Solana. That's how I was kind of relaxing. And even as I said, then we started building the Moonly 6 months prior the mint. Mint pre-mint stage to me was very stressful, to be honest. I was burning out a lot, and I'm glad that the guy who was behind the kangaroos profile remembered that I was speaking, that I did over 500 manual collaboration, talking with each of the person. Of course, I could. We had a virtual assistant, Little Feather could handle, and he helped me a lot out there. But I wanted to go through the process, connect with people directly, see what actually can be improved out there so we can build. So in that moment, I will literally burn it out. So when the mint actually kind of uh, ended up, and when we kind of was in the on the secondary marketplace, I was totally burned out, to be honest. And at that moment you have the most expectation from the community, because the project, and I can totally understand from different angles, from the eyes of the people, um, how they saw the Moonly. They saw Moonly as a very high potential project, because of the brand. We have one word moon domain that you cannot buy even now with two-word domain. If you're gonna find that is a good. We have this domain, a very good brand called Moonly. We had a website, very good looking website, providing tools at the front. We had this very professional video out there that kind of almost reached, I don't know, 150,000 views or something like that. Um, yeah, 170,000 view organically and all this stuff. So people had a really, really big expectation from the Moonly out there after me, that what's going to happen, because we wanted to build a lot of stuff, definitely. And we never stopped building any of those. But just after Mint, basically, I was wasted. Of course, I was kind of excited with all these things of what happened, but now I needed to dive into development. Like, okay, we need to expand team, all right, because we were kind of just a couple of guys out there, two developers and virtual assistants, and so let's expand the team. Let's work on that. Let's build the feature people expecting. When, putting the pressure on you and stuff, and so you don't even have a break after this kind of big event, which is a mint. So at that point I realized, and I realized this months after, way months after, at that point I kind of put the community at the side and focused fully on building, thinking that what we're gonna build is gonna cover up for being kind of not engaging too much in community. It's not that it's not, I'm not gonna, not that, sorry, I got bugged. It's not that I was not engaging with community at all, but since we had another Discord server where there is a whole core team happening, separated from the Discord community, it was impossible to even to read and to respond to all the matches, because you need to navigate 5, 6 developers out there, to talk with them, to test, to explain, to work with them, and to other team members like writers, virtual assistants, designers, and so on. So it was, I think, where the Mooney right now is, it's kind of missed that opportunity to capture that initial potential hype, actually the hype that it had. If you remember, Task, the Mooney, you said you flip it out. I'm not sure if you I guess you profited out, but Mooney all the time high was 10 Sol from the 1.8 kind of Sol mint. And you know as well that it was kind of not kind of a best moment for NFT project. That the Luna happened, then 6 months, 4 or 5 months after that, I think FTX happened, right, and stuff, and then all this shit was happening out there. So definitely, like you said, Moon is very undervalued project. What you figured out, one also reason about our current floor price is, um, since we started building the tools, so we had the idea, locking the tools, providing utility, hold NFT, and stuff like that. And then you figure it out that it doesn't have a sense to lock something that should be for free, that should be accessible for people. I was always uh, I built so many things in the past. I experimented with so many tools and projects in the last 20 years. And I know probably it sounds very old. I'm not that too old, but 36 years. But I've been in the space for a long time, and I spent, there was a days for spending 32 hours per day doing what you love, doing what you're passionate about. So I built a lot of stuff. I was involved in a lot of stuff, and I was growing a lot of stuff out there. And I always was the user experience was most important thing. Wanted to. I
Oh,
always
you're
like it when
rugging
I
a
was
bit.
coming. Am I
You there,
rugging? Do you
Kindy?
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little bit. Just a little bit. That's okay though. You can, if you want
Maybe
to
maybe
finish
the
your thought, go
wireless.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to say that hopefully you hear me now well. I wanted to say that I always kind of was appreciating through the years when I come to the website that is very well built and it's a free, and it's a very hard, that's very hard to find that kind of gems, right? So great user experience, providing a value to you, and it's a free. That's a freaking awesome. So that's how I was always thinking when I was building all of these tools before, provide the value for free, provide the value, because that's what I felt out there. So that's how I felt with Moonly. Like, what there is to and to not mention that there was a competitors heading up, providing similar tools, like popping up like mushrooms, because Magic Eden released their API. So now it was much easier to build another statistics monitoring tool with floor price, statistic, and all that stuff out there. So while and I was thinking, like, what to lock down there? Like, there is no sense to lock, because we're not gonna provide value. We're just gonna look like very funny at the eyes of people if you lock down something that obviously should be for free. So for months, like 5 6 months, we were building up free tools, and almost nothing was locked down. And even now, very small things on the moon is locking down. And there's a tools out there and that provide value. That this is how I also meet the Kai, who is the behind the Moonly main account right now. And this is how I actually meet him. He was using a Moonly. Moonly was providing value to him. He will share his story, how he actually found Moonly later on and what's it for him. But yeah, here we are after almost a year after Mint, almost 1.5 year from the beginning of the Moonly. So, like my friend, the little feather said, Moonly is unpicked cherry, definitely. So, a lot of things to come. I'll talk about this later. Feel free to interrupt me anytime.
So I guess there's obviously a lot to unpack there, right? Like trials and tribulations in terms of like the community that you've curated up until now, and like the issues that you might have kind of encountered in terms of like keeping them engaged and so on and so forth, and these different competitors in the space that have popped up, and when you're running like a business, right, from the perspective of just somebody that has advised a variety of projects from across the board, like what are your kind of initiatives for like future marketing? I think like getting on more spaces like this is something that's a great kind of starting point for kind of getting the vision out there 100%. The marketing props that you guys are going to do, and when I kind of look at the collection size as well, right, like the collection size for like a tool suite like this, um, have you ever considered doing something like a burn down for like an art upgrade to kind of curate the community to be a little bit more smaller and tight knit, to be able to like be more available to push the initiatives that you have, and the things that you want to do while you're building in the background and creating all of these free tools for all of these people, regardless if they're in the community or not, so that they're kind of supporting the project alongside you as a little bit more close knit. Have you like thought of any things like these? And like Kai, if you have any input that you want to kind of toss in, feel free as well, to kind of this question, because I think there was a lot to unpack there, right? From what you talked about, and there are different things and initiatives you can kind of execute on to kind of further the project in different ways. And I'm curious in terms of like the growth and future growth, if you have plans for this and where that's going to go. So Kai, if you want, go ahead, and then we'll go to Kindy.
I think one of the biggest kind of avenues that we're going to take is kind of getting ourselves, as you said, into more spaces like this, because getting our name out there is going to be one of the biggest things that we can do. So the more people that know about us, the more people that are going to know about the NFTs, the more people are going to know about Moon.ly, and the more people that are going to use the tools. And we kind of want people to get these NFTs off of the floor, understand that they have utility on the website, understand that they're going to be linked to certain tools that are coming up, like the sniper tool or the Discord verification bot or various other tools that I'm probably not allowed to talk about before Kinder fires me. But essentially, we want to get as many people back on the Moonly train as we can, essentially. But we want to get, I suppose our best avenue is going to be through spaces. So we want to get a wider berth of people involved in knowing about Moonly itself. And the biggest thing that we want is essentially getting people to use moon.ly, getting a lot more traffic around it, getting people to understand that the NFTs are linked to the website itself and getting them using it. I suppose that's what we want.
It's a good start. As a marketing initiative, you have to have socials, right? Like you have to have a social presence if you want to kind of continue your initiatives and hold like a semblance of a floor. If you're looking at it from like a floor price perspective, you absolutely have to have socials and those aspects. And even as simple as like a mainstay space, like if you guys don't have a mainstay space that you have that you run every week that's got a quirky little name that's related to Moonly, and there's like different market analytics that you go over, and it's like community vibe, and you have a segment or two kind of planned in there, and that's something that you can do and kind of curate and start doing on a weekly basis, on top of going to these other spaces and these other areas and pockets in the ecosystem to kind of push out your initiatives. And that's something that you can kind of start as well. So I'm glad to hear that a project like this that has all these tools and all these useful things are starting to do more, because it's necessary, right? It's necessary looking at it from that perspective. And Kindy, if you have anything to add, feel free.
Definitely have a lot of things to add to this. First thing is, yes, this is exactly what we are doing here. This is exactly what Kai is doing. He's creating a space. He's helping the community and the whole project to host at least one space per week. Something similar like you guys are doing right now. So we recognize this is something we need to do, and we missed this for a long time, definitely. Few other things I wanted to add so you can actually understand better where is the Moonly, why it's here, and where it's going. Um, I mean, a lot of it's very obvious. You can build the best product out there. If no one knows about that product, it's useless, right? No one will have this. Get any value from that project, right? You can invest 10 years building the best out of the best project. If no one using it's useless. We know that. Um, I am a growth hacker. This is one of my main skills actually out there for last 20 years. I was able to kind of figure out the system and um, to grow the business or whatever it is. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't show my growth hack side on the Moonly because I was too busy with the whole tech part of the Moonly side. The whole blockchain world is new to us, so we needed to figure out a lot of things. I did a lot of research for team to optimize their work, to optimize their time, to save it time. I want to say that regarding the marketing perspective and what was our plan, when we were about to mint the Moonly, I had clear goals, and that is to raise a certain amount of money, and so that we do not worry about the resources or funds for our next 3 years. So I had a very clear goal. I want to have runway for 3 years, at least 3 years, so we can actually build slowly and steady for long term of the Moonly. Because I had so many things out there. Even one of those things it was actually the syndicate news, and I'm glad that someone actually picked it up. So I just gonna move that from cross that card from the notion, so we don't need to build that. um, when I said that I'm growth hacker, I really mean that. Unfortunately, I couldn't show this through the social media. I kind of got tired through the social media because years before that, I successfully growed organically. When I say organically, I mean real sense organically, because a lot of founders or shitty projects are abusing that word organic. My ass buying a fake followers on the Fiverr for $20 or something like that. I talk about real sense of organic work. I was growing, Instagram accounts to the millions of organic followers, being the top influencer accounts on the UI, UX, user interface, user experience niche on the Instagram. I had the websites that was having half of million page views per day in the past. So I really knew, in the sense, how to grow. But again, fortunately, in this game, because the Web3 is a very rapid game, and there's a huge competition. Every competition is very powerful because they have a resources, so you're competing with very powerful teams out there. Some are better, some are worse, some are kind of not that good in the technical, but they're good in the community side, and so on. So um, basically, the goal was a long term, and still the goal for the Moonly is a long term. And kind of we try to recover that missing part on the social side. The Twitter was kind of inactive for a while at some period, because I didn't have a guy to trust to give him, the full. I mean, the Twitter, actually, to be honest, Twitter didn't solve this for the businesses, as far as I'm aware. Do you agree with this task? Like, you need to give someone the full password and says, and someone can probably rag you out there and do a damage if it's a wrong guy. So it should be kind of some management, something like that
Well, yeah, for
out
sure.
there.
You got to be careful, right? I mean, I have access to the Ghost Kid account. That's me over there. That I do. I also do all of the social media on Instagram for Ghost Kid as well. So, you got to find somebody for sure that you can trust, that's providing value in the space, that you can kind of manage, but also give the autonomy to kind of manage themselves across the board. And I myself am someone that has the capacity to do that. And finding somebody like Kai that based on what you've kind of seen in him also will have the capacity to do that. So it's awesome to see that the Moonly account will be able to jump into these pockets of the ecosystem and have a better presence on socials, because I remember you from very early, like Ghost Kid and Moonly launched very very close to one another. So like I remember Moonly and what it did and where it went. And like I said, I was in the project for a little bit for the sense of a flip, right? Like a lot of people are in projects for a flip in some instances. And all of these tools that you've built are extremely like overlooked, for sure. And I kind of want to get into them because I've hit you with a couple hard questions. You took them in stride, and I appreciate you taking them in stride. And I hope we're all good on that. And I appreciate you kind of getting through them. But why don't we talk about the good? Why don't we talk about the things that you built? Why don't we talk about some of your favorites, some of the things that are utilized regularly, some of the community favorites that the community base that you do have utilizes on a regular basis, and how you've kind of conceptually come up with these ideas and the impact it has on the ecosystem.
All right. Once again, I appreciate the real question. This is the real spaces with the real talk. So I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, let's talk about where are we now, where we're going. Apart from the floor price, which is 0.69. A lot of people like this 69 number anyway. So we kind of settle it out there for a reason. I'm kidding. Anyway, so at some point, actually, from the beginning, we had a vision that we're going to build various tools out there. But first, we started building a ground. And I was talking about this in announcements for, for a lot of months out there, that what we was building at that time last year is just, the ground from what is to come. So we started with these upcoming projects, statistics, all of these tiny tools, reminders, alerts, then auto alerts, monitor table, um, charts, some additional statistics that other website didn't provide, curated data thanks to our virtual assistant team, Little Feather, Tamara, Yoka, and other guys out there. They're curating a lot of this stuff. But then we figured out, all right, um, now it's time how to get the word out. So you asked me just a minutes ago, what is the plan, how to actually get out from where we are and put the word out. So um, at some point, you just pop up in your head, yes, it's actually build something that work for other communities. So if you provide the value for other communities, those communities will also work for you, and it's going to be mutual benefits out there. So for example, um, we're now releasing a couple of tools. Some of are already released, some are already are in the building process right now. But tools like holder verification tool that already exists in the market, definitely Matica. We had this idea for a while. It's not that we are for some unknown reason copying a matrica and thinking we're going to be successful, but we actually see this as a necessary part of our ecosystem, um, because of other tools, because we're trying to uh, be kind of a hub with tools that will provide the value for our traders and communities or projects out there. So one of the tools are basically a Discord bots. One of those Discord bot tools, a holder verification tool, something like Matrica, sales bot, announcement catcher, um, kind of similar. I mean, kind of similar, not kind of similar with the syndication network, but basically have ability for a Discord or for other projects where they can um, push their announcement outside of the Discord automatically. Basically, something you see right now in the Magic Eden, even the Magic Eden released this maybe a month or two ago. I had this vision, to be honest, way before them. But of course, you cannot build everything at the same time. And now we also released to staking as a service tool. And this is how we actually see that we're gonna kind of push through this space, because if we onboard one solid project out there, it's gonna give us tons of exposure out there. So imagine onboarding Kangaroo project that was a guest right now. So and using our service, and if our service, well, that will be a ton of the exposure to the Moonly, because all of those people who will use either the holder verification tool or either the staking as a service tool, they will need to go through the Moonly authentication process, connect very smooth user experience, connect the wallet, connect the Discord, connect the Twitter, and stay there. And once they actually are in the system, they will be open a lot of doors for different tools, for community tools, for trading tools, for the regular statistics, alerts, and all the stuff. Sniping bot, that is something which is also coming, and so on. So this is one of one, I think, important way that we're gonna go and push through this space. We're gonna provide those tools at a very competitive rate. Some of those will also be free, but we provided a lot of things for free, so we're now gonna wrap all of this into one package and be very competitive. So you don't need to go and buy 5 or 6 different as a project. Let's say you're gonna meet soon, or you're planning to build a project and release a collection out there. You don't need to go and buy 5 different um, tools and pay for each of them. You can get a Moonly in one package, very competitive price, and you can get staking as a service. You can get raffles, chests. You can get holder verification bot, sales bot, announcement catcher, couple different Discord tools as well. And then we can also provide all of these tools that we are kind of providing for Moonly holders. We can provide to, let's say, your holders or to Kangaroo holders, so they can get access to it. So this is something that in what direction we are kind of currently going in.
I love it, man. That's a widespread of kind of the tools you have, and kind of an basic understanding of what you guys have been building, and the future of what you're going to try and do, and kind of propagate the marketing in the Discord, which I think is a good thing. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Daily Ruse is doing it. People before Daily Ruse have been doing it for marketing and getting things into the servers. I think that's a good idea. I would if I'm eating ice cream, it seems like whenever I eat ice cream, it just gives me good ideas. So I'm going to toss this in here, and maybe it's something you can work with. All of these tools that you have, my suggestion to get it into like the hands and in front of the eyes of users would be to pick either like these tools that are used the most on your platform right now, and figuring out how to propagate them into a Discord bot that like shows it in the form of like an announcement, like you said, kind of the way it propagates from Syndicate News and so on and so forth. Or literally, you could name probably 20 other, 30 other different tools that propagate it like that in the Discord, but allowing it to be there for users to kind of utilize, and also allowing them to get more information by clicking on a link and then sending it directly to the website. And I think just look obviously the audience that we had is kind of dissolved, and hopefully some of them joined in, the ones that did join back. Thank you very much. But why don't we kind of you can go into what I kind of said and so on and so forth, and then after that we can kind of wrap up the space.
Yeah, sure, definitely. It's for Kai might be late or for some team members, so I appreciate even being here at this time. So yeah, let's wrap up. I'm glad that you shared some experience, some feedback out there, and I didn't hear everything because Alan Raga does. But what I heard out there is exactly what was a plan, and part of that was built, that we kind of integrate some of those tools into the Discord as automation, as through the announcement, and through other stuff. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Plan. I like to pivot. I'm kind of also rapid guy. I like to experiment. I like to risk as well. So um, I'm open actually to try new things. And even now, while I'm speaking, we are building some new tools that was basically we figured out, month ago, right? We need to build this tiny thing in the space because everyone is doing wrong, So why not fix that stuff? Something like even Syndicate Network figured out, like, no one doing this, let's fix this shit. So uh, yeah, that's one some of the things kind of wanted to mention out there.
No, absolutely. When I'm looking, you guys missed it, dude. Maybe I froze the space because I started eating ice cream and I was
Yo,
going to
what
talk about
happened
ice
then?
cream.
I thought I was rocking.
Yeah, we all thought we were rugging, but it was actually Uncle Elon. Okay. Looking at the thing that I mentioned that I think that was missed. One of the features that I really like on your website is simply just like the live feed tracker that like aggregates all of the listings and the sales and the delistings kind of right there. I personally would love to see that in like Discord, in the sense of a live feed that kind of shows you that directly in front of users. And I'm taking credit for this if you do it. Live feed of all of that directly in Discord, and users can then click on that for more information, and it opens a marketplace, possibly something like Magic Eden or Tensor, directly to that NFT, and it also opens up Moonly directly to that page for that NFT. And I think that's one way you could 100% do it. It's an easy feature. It's a feature that doesn't particularly exist in Discord. I don't really see it. And it's something that people would probably utilize regularly, especially during like hype mints, right? Like hype mints, they'd want to be able to like, see what's being listed during that time. And there could be like toggle options where you can like toggle it to specific NFTs, right? Like you can just watch the feed for something like Daily Ruse, or you can just watch the feed for something like Ghost Kid, or you could even do it where I want to watch the feed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects, and you could just watch the feed and you could kind of curate it for the user, and you could do that right in Discord. I think that would be something that could be utilized, and it could bring like a larger user base to you. And then you just do the grassroots marketing where you go in and you're like, hey, we offer this for free, let's fucking get it. You get a bunch of clicks, allows them to go from there to your website as well to utilize the rest of your tools, and it's a win-win.
Great advice. I like it. And part of this we actually have right now. We do this through kind of a Discord sales bot, but specifically for collection that is using that tool. So for example, in our Moonly server, we have kind of sales bot channel that is not only showing the sales, like for all of the sales bot existing right now, they only show the sales, but it actually shows all the events like listing, the listing and sales event, and change the color. So basically live feed already inside of that channel. But we will definitely, I like the extendable idea, like you just mentioned, that we can kind of create configuration that do you think that configuration should be created by the admin, so the admin can control what kind of collection will be in the live feed of some channel, or
I think it
by
should
the
just be
user?
user based. I mean, I think that would be harder, but I think it could be user based, where maybe, I don't know, that would be definitely like harder to populate, coming
Yeah.
from like a user perspective and like a dev perspective for sure. Maybe maybe it could be as easy as like voting weekly on like the collections, or maybe it just tracks the top collections from like the front page on something like Magic Eden or Tensor, or the blue chip projects, quote unquote, and then the top collections, and you can kind of click and do that and curate. And what you could do, for a user as well, like I don't know if this would be possible, but like if you're gonna like toggle it, right? You could be like, all right, I want to see XYZ collections, and then maybe it would like curate the feed for the individuals that are using the bot right there. Like, I don't know, maybe it opens up like a sub channel or something like that. I don't know. There's different ways that I could do it, but the easiest way obviously would be to like have the admin kind of curate it.
Yeah, definitely. That will be kind of, let's say, the first version. And one of the things that to be check out there is the Discord rate limits. If the, let's say, because as you can see, we have so many activities out there and in the live feed, so we will need to figure out, all right, what is the rate limits. So, but yes, definitely, as you can see, we have partly done that part, that thing, but just for a specific collection, not for a whole, not that you can customize for other collection. But that's very easy actually to add out there. And as you can see, this is one of the things we kind of did wrong. We didn't put a lot of emphasis on the things that we built out there, but we just moved out there on the next thing and the next thing. Even now, we released so many things, even release it silently. To be honest, I didn't have sometimes energy to even write a proper announcement out there. Hey guys, look, we did this and that. I thought, all right, people will figure it out, and we're gonna have one big meetup spaces. I'm gonna announce, because I like more to talk or to record the videos than to write out there. I cannot express properly through the writing. But that's why the Kai is here. He's helping us with expression, and that's why I like him.
Bullish on Kai, bullish on new ideas. Kai, go ahead.
Is that the only reason you like me?
Who?
It's me. Is that the only reason you like me, Stefan?
No, the only one reason I like you. No, definitely not, man.
No worries.
Bullish got him.
Can you tell to the task how you actually found the Moonly and how we actually ended up
I was
here?
actually going to get into that. So essentially it's kind of an embarrassing story. I don't want to get too deep into it, but essentially a few years ago when I was getting into NFTs, I did a lot of research because my background, I have an MSc, so a master's degree in science, and I do a lot of research. It's something that I really enjoy doing. So I got into NFTs and I'm like, okay, I want to get into certain NFTs. I want to try and make a little bit of money here. It turned out after a couple of months, I ended up having more than 600 tabs open on my computer. So needless to say, my computer was kind of dying on me. And yeah, again, kind of embarrassing. Don't want to go too deep into it. I don't want to relive it. But a little bit later after that, essentially I think it was June or July last year, I came across Moonly's site and I just started using that as kind of like
how did you came out? I'm just wondering personally, really, how did you came? Do you remember? I always
I
ask
think
those questions.
I think it was Twitter actually. The I saw the tweet where your little video was on it, and I think I saw that, and I kind of gravitated towards the website from there.
Do you think maybe it's from the Google that you maybe was doing some research about the project and you was looking for X project X mid price or something like that, and maybe the
Maybe
Moonly popped out as a first result out there?
it might have been on Google, but I know that I got to your Twitter and I saw the video, and I was like, oh, there's a website for this. I didn't realize this. I've been doing all this research. I've got all these tabs open. Nearly killed my computer several times because it wouldn't work, and now I've got a website which essentially I kind of describe it as a search engine combined with analytics tools. That's kind of how I see it. So what I do now, I essentially plug in whatever NFT collection I want to look at, and I just look at the information that I need. So it gives me the mint price, it gives me the live price now, which is really cool. It gives me some information about social media statistics, which you don't get anywhere else for other analytics tools. So that's kind of how I found it. I found it because it was kind of out of necessity. Otherwise, I would have needed 600 computers by now. Long story short, but that's kind of how I found Moonly, and that's why I'm here. I wrote an article. So the way I met Stefan is I actually wrote an article on Moonly. So I did quite an in-depth discussion and dive with a few people about Moonly myself, so externally. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to write an article about this because I find this project really interesting. So I did a little bit of a deep dive into it and then wrote an article about it. And I think I don't know if it was me or you who reached out to me on Twitter, but we got to talking from there, and here I am.
I think I found your article before that you wrote for someone else, and I like it, and then we connected, and then you wrote that article that I was blown away. I thought at that moment, I swear of everything, I thought these guys like he knows some internal things, like how he knows this. You wrote it like I was wanted to write, because you feel it. So I don't wanna someone take over the Kai if you have money, but definitely if someone need a good researcher and writer, consider Kai, because he's a great guy, really.
He made up for it there, Kai. Great job, Kindy. Love it. Love the story too. Obviously, stories and how things happen are always a little crazy. Um, I appreciate both of you coming out and being on WAGBOO Weekly. Sorry from me, but mainly Elon. I'm apologizing in his place for rugging the first space. I appreciate everybody up here on the panel that joined us tonight. I appreciate all of the listeners that listened in. I hope that everyone has a wonderful evening. I am going to get into the last words for you, for Kai and for Kindy here, because I have another space that I host that I actually pinned at the top, that I host off of that account every single night, Monday to Friday at 9 p.m. EST. For anybody that's interested, definitely a little more on the degenerate side, but feel free to pop by. And even if you don't pop by, I would appreciate even a like, a retweet, or a comment on that, because usually I'm able to kind of wrap it up before we get to the Bodega Banter space. So feel free to kind of throw your last pitch in, and then we will run it out with a song.
Yeah, well, I'll go first because I want Stefan to have the last word. So thanks for having us. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed or followed the Twitter of Moonly, then I mean, you're kind of missing out. There's going to be a lot going on. We're going to host spaces as often as we can. We're going to try and find a day that we can just settle on. Probably going to be Thursdays. I'm not sure if we're going to do one today because now is 2 days. So we're going to have to discuss that. But if you haven't actually seen the website as well, go to moon.ly and check it out. It will save you a lot of time. Trust me, I'm speaking from direct experience and it's very useful. And if you do want to pick up a few NFTs, feel free to sweep the floor. And yeah, thank you guys for having us. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Kai. I'm kind of really bad at pitching, so I'm gonna do this pitch without pitching manifesto. So I borrowed this from the book title, actually. There's a book calling like that. But anyway, if people who listen to this space doesn't know much about Mooney, since I couldn't express and share all details because I will need to talk for 2 days about this and the story and where we're going and what it have right now, because we didn't communicate right through all this what we built. I just want to tell people that what we're doing over here, especially talking in my name personally, is something that is my life. Basically, I put my life on the internet. I'm so excited in building digital products, and also helping people out there to build their own products. I like to bootstrap. I don't like to do VC and stuff like that. That's why I was attracted to the NFT space. That's what I saw it as one of the value that NFT space provide for the founders and for the real builders out there. Also, what I want to say is what you currently see. We talked, and I was really glad that Task was pointing this out. He asked about what's going on with our floor price. We provide so much things, but our floor price kind of undervalued out there. Um, it is definitely undervalued. There's many more things to come with all of these community tools that we're gonna build. I didn't mention for the last word how we're gonna kind of um, create an incentive for people to buy our NFTs and increase the floor price, provide more value to our holders and all this stuff. There's so many things that I didn't have a time to talk about, and of course I'm not gonna. But as I said, we're gonna basically charge communities through the NFT. So this is kind of hybrid model where you will need to buy NFTs worth of $700, and you get access to the all tools, community tools, and the trader tools that we build and that we're gonna build in the future. So for now, let's say $720. It's around 25 moonlies or so at this price. So you basically buy those moonlies and stake it in our staking service out there. Once you get that staking done, the doors will open for you to get access to other features. So many things are to build. There is not too much time and resources, but we're gonna give our best. There's also another thing coming up very secretly. We're gonna talk about this in the future. Task, thank you a lot for hosting this space. I was enjoying listening the previous guys at the SOC, the syndication network guys. I appreciate you providing a real transparent feedback, not something that you're kind of licking our ass over here because you're hosting, you're doing a real stuff over here. So I appreciate that, man. And I'm glad that we kind of connected even more, right, on this. So this is how we actually be. Okay, I see one hand. It's a Bucky. Can we
It's
actually
okay.
ask hello?
It's okay. It's Bucky. He's allowed to speak. But he's going to be in the banter anyway. So Bucky, go ahead.
I just want to say you are all beautiful and I love you all. And I want everyone to give themselves a round of applause because we made it halfway through the week. Oh, thank God. Anyway, I love you all. Quick words. We're almost there, baby. I love you all. You're all beautiful, and Task is the sexiest DILF alive, if you know
Thank
what
you,
I
Bucky.
mean. I
Thank
love
you,
you
Bucky.
all.
I appreciate you. Beyond DILFs and being beautiful and being halfway through the week. I hope that everyone enjoyed today on the episode of WAGBOO Weekly. The first one was rugged, but we got through the majority of it, which is great for the space. So any listeners back will be fantastic. I won't have a pitch to send them out. They'll just all of a sudden everybody will stop talking and it is what it is. But thank you all for joining. If you haven't followed Moonly, if you haven't followed the speakers here, if you haven't followed Jericho down there, who is still joining us from the Daily Ruse, please go do so that you can stay informed about these projects if you're interested. Otherwise, I appreciate you all, the listeners. I appreciate you all, the panelists. Sean, go ahead and play us out, my G.
Well, you caught me off guard there, Task.
What do you mean I caught you off guard?
I thought you had more to say, dude. Like how Bucky said. Bucky literally called us beautiful. So
I
I
did. I
thought
called him beautiful back. Have you seen him? He's like 6'4" and he's beautiful.
Dude, actually I can't
Thank
see him,
you.
dude. His PFP, he's got like a hood and stuff. So